Hello, and welcome back to my Fire Emblem 8 Eirika Reverse Recruitment LTC. This is Typhoon Carter, and this is the grand finale for this LTC run. With Endgame, there are two parts, and both objectives are kill boss. What we have to do is, with part 2, we cannot change where our units are placed, so we have to manipulate the deployment order from the preps menu. This is somewhat similar to FE8 in that regard, except the only difference is we can at least change our units' deployment slots in the prep screen for the first part of Endgame. And there's some things we have to do. Now, Leon is extremely bulky, but is fairly trivial to kill him and shouldn't take too much effort to pull off because of Pierce being a thing. Now, Saleh's rescue was important because this allows us to get Cormac just enough range to reach Leon. Now, Natasha warps Cormac all the way to the boss, and we basically have to rig a Pierce critical. Now, we can easily do this with a Killer Lance because we only need 25 attack in order to get a Pierce one-hit KO, at least with a crit, so the Killer Lance is our best option to do it. Now, Leon hits very hard, but he basically has no speed, as Cormac just makes quick work of him. Now, with Leon taken down, this will take us to the second part of Endgame, and it is probably the easiest final boss besides Veld in the entire series. Now, the Demon King is weak to all of the sacred weapons, so having some S-rank users would have been super helpful, and this boss we technically can also cheese with a Pierce critical. And despite him having a ton of stats, Pierce just ignores a lot of his defense and helps us take out a good chunk of his health. Now, the Demon King, despite being kind of a joke, actually is a bit fast, so doubling him isn't exactly an easy task. And we get Myrrh to do a trade chain with Cyrene to get her to also use to adopt Myrrh. Getting this boss kill off is fairly reliable for the most part, although we did need at least one Pierce, but we have enough chances to do it, which shouldn't be a big problem. Unfortunately, Cyrene's low con kind of betrays her here, as her stats are just weighed down a little bit too much to actually double. Amelia's goddess icon was just to improve her hit against the Demon King, and we're just short, and we just need one more rescue / warp, as Amelia just survives the Demon King. And then Saleh just breaks the last rescue use and gets Tethys up there. As you can guess who we're going to give the kill to. And Amelia, with one more strike with Siegmund, she finally finishes the job and she completes her redemption arc as the Demon King is no more. And we are finally done with Eirika Reverse Recruitment. The Turncounts should be shown fairly soon, and I'll use this time to kind of talk about, some things I could do better, and potentially just like what my future plans will be, at least for this channel. So there were a couple of spots during this LTC where turns definitely could have been saved. Most of them really came in the early game though, and the only real late game one that I think of that could have really had a turn save was probably chapter 18, where I could have utilized some tricks up my sleeve a little bit better, and also training La Rochelle might have saved a turn. in 18, but I can't say that confidently. Chapter 8 was another one where a possible turn save might have been doable with a promoted Null instead of Sally, but I can't say for sure. I haven't had a chance to test it out yet. And I think there were like maybe 2 or 3 more turns during the course of this run that could have been saved at least from that prologue to chapter 8 segment of the game. Now, as per what I'm going to do next, now that I have finished this run, I have finished routing out Ephraim route, and I'm going to be doing Ephraim patch for that route specifically. So we'll have Amelia as the main lord, but like the cast will also be shuffled up, and we'll be using Ephraim routes as a reverse recruitment order instead of Eirika, because like the overall options we have there will be a little bit better and a little bit more flexible in general, which was one annoying thing I found with this run, was that Natasha, especially since I was skipping recruitments, was my only real warp option, and the other warpers just, I couldn't really get them there on time, although Sally and full recruit I definitely could do it. The other thing is that I wish that La Rochelle and Eirika patch at least had C rank staves instead of D rank, which would have made her at least a viable option to be trained. As for other projects that I have in mind right now, I finally got Path of Radiance working, and by working I mean I was able to get a 100% gross patch working on it with the Une randomizer. And I originally was going to do that after I concluded my FE12 Hard 4 LTC, but the game was just so slow and most of my resets were wasted on trying to rig level ups, which just became so frustrating that I kind of just took a backseat from that. But now that I got it working, you can also expect that to be coming up as one of my potential projects. Another project that I might want to do is a ROM hack called FE7 Sword of Heaven and Earth, which is a Chinese/Japanese hack that is set like around the start of FE6, a little bit around that time, which was a hack that kind of caught my interest, and I thought maybe that could use some exposure, I'm not sure. But otherwise, I'm not 100% sure what I really want to do. Turing Saga did catch my eye, but like that will take up a bunch of time. So for now, in the immediate future, I would say that you can probably expect Path of Radiance and Fire Emblem 8 Ephraim Reverse Recruitment to be the 2 things that you'll be seeing on my channel. Path of Radiance, I'll be working on that while I'm uploading Ephraim route. So, with all that said, I think this was a run that most certainly had a lot of room for improvement, and it is one where I think the turn floor is somewhere below 60 turns. I think a sub 60 turn count of this run is definitely possible. As for why I didn't do an open Q&A, I'm going to save that for when I'm finally done Ephraim route, so that you guys can just ask me anything like once I'm done that. With all that said, I will see you guys next time, and definitely stay tuned for Ephraim route, as I should be uploading that in about a week from now. This is Typhoon Carter, and I will see you guys.